Today we're reacting to a video that CoryxKenshin put up regarding YouTube being racist or playing favoritism to a certain community on YouTube. So basically, he's a gamer YouTuber.
The mortuary assistant.
That was the name of the game that he ended up uploading. And he realized that it received an age restriction. And he was wondering, why? So he contacted his YouTube sales rep, trying to, get down to the bottom of things. And when he did, he basically didn't quite get an answer from him until he had to throw somebody under the bus, because he ended up appealing the age restriction at first. And, they didn't really give him a reason why they age restricted it. They just, confirmed, yes, it was supposed to be age restricted. And then that's when he went to the YouTube, his rep. So basically, after he did that, that's when the YouTube rep took it to the next level to say, let's look into this deeper. So he basically had to throw
Markiplier
under the bus so that he could prove his claim was, BS. It shouldn't have been age restricted, because the same person that has a lot of views like him, a lot of followers like him, had no type of age restriction on the same game that he was playing. And apparently this game
might have some suicides in it. Well, I couldn't tell you exactly. I didn't see the video, but yeah, apparently there was some kind of suggestive scenes happening in the video that when the guy Markiplier made the video about it. And also, I don't know if he's white or not. I don't watch his videos. He just looks white. So, take that for what it is. But yeah, he watched Markiplier's video, which was the same content, the same scene that was age restricted in CoryxKenshin's video, not get an age restriction initially, until, again, Cory had to go ahead and throw him under the bus by saying, hey, well, look at this video. And then when they looked at it, upon further review, they decide to lift his age restriction. And I'll say that's kind of damning, because the age restriction thing in general is going to make it so that you're not getting the most amount of views, the most amount of, impressions, as it were. We look into the YouTube analytics. We don't have a huge channel. Our channel is growing. And we look at the analytics nonetheless and see, what kind of demographics look at our videos, and how many impressions we get, what platforms are seeing our videos. And, it's pretty big to get age restricted, even though we self-impose age restrictions a lot of times because we don't want kids to see some of our stuff. If you do that, then you're going to get less views, by default. You're going to get less views because it's not going to show up. The algorithm, as it were, the infamous algorithm, is going to be used to, minimize the impressions that you get on the video. And so it looks like in CoryxKenshin's case, why he's really pissed off, and I would agree with this, is, you had a video that was trending. His video was number 1 on YouTube on the mortuary assistant for a day, and then number 2 on a second day. So it was a big video, lots of monetization. And what ended up happening was the age restriction severely limited the traction there. So once the traction went down, he's doing all this infighting within the YouTube side of things. Meanwhile, Markiplier, he's eating, his video, not age restricted, getting seen, getting the impressions that he needs, getting the monetization. And they decide to put the age restriction on Markiplier's video, because what ended up happening was this. Cory goes, yeah, hey, he can do it. Why can't I do it? They check out his video. They're like, oh, yeah, you're right. They free up CoryxKenshin's age restriction. But by doing so, it's kind of like a Pyrrhic victory. At a point where, yeah, I had this video out. It could have been doing way bigger numbers, AKA making me way more money. And at this point, it's lost a lot of steam. Other people are doing it now. Other people have videos on this now, I'm sure, at this point, because of the fact he got age restricted. So, yeah, Markiplier getting age restricted ends up happening because he goes, well, look, this isn't the answer I'm looking for. If anything, you guys should have been, going even harder. And age restricted him immediately. So they ended up doing just that. They age restricted him again because they had released his age restriction at first. They ended up age restricting him again. And then they end up age restricting Markiplier's video on the same. And I'm sure a bunch of other people got age restricted about the video on the same topic as well.
And I feel like the only reason why they ended up doing that is because he had a whole list of demands that he sent in an email, like basically wanting answers. So he had I think it was 4 different demands, but one of them was basically, who was this video reviewed by at first? Was it an automated reviewer or was it a person reviewer? I think the second one was, what evidence did the person that reviewed it, what evidence did they have to age restrict it? And he was also concerned, why is this always happening every time he's trending? He said he goes away for maybe 9 months out of the year. He just goes away. I don't know what he does when he goes away. I guess that's just his break from YouTube. But that's what he does. And then when he comes back, it's content from years prior. He was saying 2019. He'll get a restriction on a video from 2019. And it's okay, why does it take me to have to leave and come back even stronger, even harder for y'all to come at my videos? And my whole thing with YouTube is, if you don't search for black content creators, or if you don't search for, things that happen in the black community, then you won't really see how many other diverse YouTube channels there are out there. And that's even from before we were doing this. It's hard to find, your community on YouTube if you don't search for YouTube Black. And that right there is just degrading black creators in a way, because it's okay, let me give y'all your own space so that we don't have to pollute everybody else's feed with your black faces or something like that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I really like how you said that. I'm not a fan of this whole YouTube Black thing. I mean, CoryxKenshin called it out as well. I mean, Cory has been doing this thing for over a decade. The man's got 14 million subs. I mean, he's not a small YouTuber by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not trying to say he's a unicorn scenario, but in some regards, he kind of is. He's doing video game content. He's doing that. He has to do video game content in order to be accepted by the larger majority, I would say, when it comes to YouTube. I mean, clearly, the numbers are the numbers. Gaming content on YouTube is the top content on YouTube, hands down. And I'm positive, because I've seen it, that there are tons of, Black, Asian, Mexican, Guatemalan, all these other kinds of, ethnicities are doing YouTube gaming related content. And yet there's favoritism definitely being shown by the algorithm, I would say. I don't know if it's so much a human being making these decisions. I would say a human being, or rather a team of human beings, definitely programmed these algorithms. I mean, artificial intelligence, I would hope, is not at a point of saying, I don't like darkies. I would hope that's not where AI is. The algorithms have been set up in such a way to be dismissive of black people's content. I would say, I can't speak for every other race, so I can't get into the whole people of color thing, but I can say black people specifically. If we're not talking about hip hop, we're not talking about R&B, we're not doing gaming content, you're not going to see a lot of black faces. Black reaction channels, for instance, there's a few that are doing well. And that's not because there's only a few black people doing the YouTube thing. Like, black people are all over YouTube. It's just, again, you have to really look for these people. You have to be up on game as it comes to what's going on. Who's the best black YouTubers. You have to actually really know about these people and really seek them out. Go on YouTube and say, hey, any given Sunday, let me just scroll through the feed. You scrolling through the feed any given Sunday with black people. I'm going to tell you something that's kind of nasty to me. Tell me if you agree with this. But what I do see on the black feeds, once I do start, while looking into black people on YouTube, if I do get into like the YouTube short thing with the feeds thing around black people, it'll be like a lot of like booty model type stuff, like, quote unquote comedians, but they're not really comedians. It's really like showcasing a lot of like, Instagram model type scenarios. A lot of guys, there's like gang shorts and whatnot talking about, I'm never lacking. They got guns and whatnot. And they're talking about killing people, killing the ops and whatnot. It's like a lot of, again, it's like to that point I was making it, like the hip hop, Instagram model, R&B, dancing, and then a lot of dancing, a whole lot of dancing. I don't necessarily see that lack of diversity within the white spaces, though. Again, they'll have some of the, look at this hot chick, blah, blah, blah. But they'll have a full gamut of things going on. Like, you'll see family content. You'll see guys out there hunting. And this is just in the shorts. You'll see people on vacations or, doing normal stuff. You'll see people talking about normal things or showcasing their homes and whatnot. You don't see that coming through the shorts for black people.
Usually when I'm watching shorts, it's a mixture between white and black, but like you were saying, it's more of a boxed in black.
So it's like really, really, really limited, and even the new people that are coming up, it's like, unfortunately, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because they're like, oh, okay, well, that's what's popping. I'm black. That's what I guess I got to do. So it's always a new wave of black people doing the same exact BS versus, again, when it comes to the other races, they're doing other things, not just stuck in that zone. Yes, when I look at shorts, same deal. It'll be that boxed in black content.
And our thing, we're not trying to come at white people or anything like that, but racism does exist. And of course, we are black, so we have a viewpoint on this, like more so than what a white person can say about racism, because they've never had to deal with it. So, they can like see it or whatever like that, but it doesn't affect them the same way that it does a black person or a person of color.
That's pretty much it. It's not like there's a real solution to this. Like, y'all can get into the comments and talk about it. I'm sure we're going to field some comments from people saying, well, I'm white and I've dealt with racism before from black people. Okay, if that's your stance, okay, I can get into the semantics with you. I'd rather not, but your experienced racism or perceived experience of racism versus what we call systemic racism, that affects multiple aspects of life, not just an interaction with maybe a set few individuals, but multiple aspects of life. Look up again things like redlining, look up at things like Jim Crow. Again, you can act like this stuff is all in the past, but it's not. So you can look into that on your own time, or we can get into videos about it if you guys want us to do that. But there's so much content floating around about that when we talk the way we're talking about this subject, because it's just the honest to God truth. And again, we don't have anything against white people whatsoever. I've had white friends. I've got white coworkers who I get along great with, white customers who I get along great with. I don't have anything against white people whatsoever. We're just saying that you have to call a spade a spade. Black people are getting the short end of the stick when it comes to certain aspects of the society. And, this was one of those key points. Like, again, it could be an algorithm making these decisions or a human being, but nonetheless, it's making these decisions unfavorably the majority of the time against a black person and favorably the majority of the time against white people. And that's on YouTube, which is like the biggest streaming service bar none. So if you're an independent creator, you kind of want to be on here, but it's pretty messed up when you want to be on a platform that, again, is about, uploading media, and yet you're having to deal with unfair algorithmic, not cool.
And I hope Cory's channel doesn't, end up getting deactivated or causing his, finances to be cut off or anything like that for him putting out this video. I'm actually glad he did it so that, YouTube can change these policies or do something about it, especially with more and more people reacting to the content. Like, basically, I hope it helps him instead of hurts him in the long run. But like and subscribe. Let us know what y'all think about this one. And that's it.